Yo, welcome back to the trap where it all goes down. We have a special guest before, like I said earlier, but Miss Tasha P kind of blew the surprise I wanted to give
It was the
y'all.
executive producer's fault for writing that on the board, telling me what to say.
Somebody got to get the blame. I want to blame you, you want to blame him, but it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to point at you because you the closest one to me.
I take you.
And I don't want to get fired. So, but we have a special guest, like we said earlier, Mr. ROSCOE Dash is up in the trap with us tonight. You know what I'm saying? Everybody welcome in the trap because all this good shit come from the trap. You know what I'm saying? The trap clap, the trap clap, the trap clap. You feel me? It's ROSCOE, man. Man, it's probably been a couple of years since the last time I physically saw you. You know what I'm saying? We was in the studio together with Waka, Gucci, Drummer. Shit, it was just a house full of everybody. Shit, Wale. Man, it was just label heads. Everybody was in there. It went down. Matter of fact, history was made the last time I saw you live in the booth because y'all went in the 995 room in Patchwork and No Hands was born.
Boom, like that.
Just like that. For the world, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. No Hands was a record that had no. It wasn't born yet. It was conceived and birthed in one studio session. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of y'all don't know how it goes down in the studio environment. Sometimes you might hear a record that was 2-3 years old, and sometimes a record was created when it was created, and then it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So No Hands was definitely one of those records, and the reason, my belief, to why the record was so strong like that is, you know as well as I do, the beat and the hook. And then if the beat and the hook is strong, the beat got your head nodding and the hook got you chanting, everything else is fill in the blank, pretty much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Drummer made that beat, you constructed that fire ass hook, and the rest was history. That was probably the biggest record of that year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but I was there, y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? Just saying. But where you been, man? Tell the people where you been and what you got coming up.
I've been moving, man. I've been working, bouncing around a lot. Really been in California a lot. Took a trip to Tokyo, Okinawa, few places, man. I've just been moving around. I had a Where's ROSCOE tour for everybody who was like, Where's ROSCOE? I put a tour together for that. So we've been moving.
Man, I wish you'd have told me you was out in L.A., man. I'd be back and forth to L.A. too, man.
Stay out there, especially around this time when the weather bad.
Exactly. I wish I was out there right now. Because of the show, my time wouldn't be too long. I have to go one day, come back tomorrow. Right back, go the next day, come back tomorrow.
It's worth it though. It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying? But so Tokyo, how was Tokyo? She from Tokyo.
Yeah. Shut up. Shut up. Don't listen to him.
You're not from
Tokyo? To clown me because I'm Asian.
Oh, you're not from Tokyo?
Can you just continue with this interview?
I'm trying to give you props. You Asian. So all y'all don't come from the same place like us niggas do to other people, huh?
No, we're not.
That's
all
what they
one
tried
race.
to say. They tried to say we was all the same.
That's true.
All right. You know what I'm saying? But how was Tokyo, man?
It's a different experience, man. That was my second time going. This time I actually went with some people who I knew, so it was a little different. We did like a 3 or 4 day tour with me, Trinidad, James, and Dero. Okay. So it was pretty cool, man. Trinidad be off the chain, especially like
as usual.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the energy though, man, because it's like there's never a dull moment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's inspiration to always do something different or do something new, something fresh.
Right.
Always. So I appreciate that, man. And the trip was what it was. It was dope.
Now speaking of that right there, that's I'm glad you brought that point up because I don't think a lot of people really know how creative and innovative that you really are. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, as producers, artists, writers, whatever your thing is, a lot of times, it's you got to get paid in the business that we in. So a lot of times you have to follow down a little path so you can eat. You know what I mean? So and I think it was a great actor, Charlton Heston, that said something like, some things you do for show, some things you do for dough.
Right.
So we all got to eat, but you really are one of the most creative and innovative artists that's out here right now today. And to me personally, I really think a lot of people kind of benefited off of a style that I think, in my personal opinion, you kind of brought to the forefront a little bit. Like you know, what like give us a little bit about that.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I think that you know, I kind of brought something new to the table that people really were scared to do or like hadn't thought of yet. And I kind of made it cool. That's kind of what the whole like substance behind the mohawk and the glitter and the mohawk and the spray paint. It was just to kind of just bend the rules. Like I didn't look like somebody who made the music that I made.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to be so big at that particular point in time and to have that big movement behind me, you didn't expect me to look like that. Right. So that was me kind of shitting on what society would perceive somebody to be, or pre-assume what somebody would look like or whatever, and just kind of just rewrite the laws, you know what I'm saying? And I just kind of wanted to make people feel comfortable in their own skin and let people know that anybody can do this. There's no specific template or no specific like setup that you have to have involved in order to be somebody that can be great or that can pioneer something, you know what I'm saying? So that was what the whole thing behind that was. I don't think I've ever said that before, put it into words like that, but that's what it was, you know what I'm saying? And so I just try to carry the same thing, even like with the records. I always wanted to just defy the laws a little bit, do things that other people wouldn't do, blend genres a little bit, stretch notes out, go outside the parameters, and, you know, things like that.
I think I'm glad you said that, because right now I think, me personally, I have a little problem with, you know, some of the direction that the industry has been going lately, because I believe when, for instance, myself, Shawty Red, Drummer Boy, and Zaytoven kind of made the trap beat, you know, popular the way they was, you know, and you know, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily get, I kind of look at it as homage when people start doing what you was doing and carry the baton, but my thing is, add some innovation to it, you know, do some things outside the box, something, take a chance, you know. Back in the days, Outkast and Lil Jon and guys like this, they were chance takers, you know what I mean? And the chance takers are the ones that really make things happen. They create new avenues for everybody else to, you know, when a lane is empty, the chance taker jumps in that lane, and then the lane gets clogged with 50,000 people right behind.
The same thing.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's real important because, you know, like I said before, I think, you know, and for this, I don't listen to the radio. You turn on the radio, I can turn on the radio right now, turn it off, and turn the radio back on just 10 minutes later, and I promise you, it's the same fucking song that I just heard
on every station. On every station,
it's like a long as fuck extended version of one song. You know what I'm saying? And for the last few years, you know, I kind of fell back a little bit, man, because music wasn't inspiring me. Like it used to.
The way it was before.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there was a time when everybody stayed in their lane. You know, nobody made beats like Timbaland because you already had a Timbaland. Nobody made beats like Lil Jon because you already had a Lil Jon. You know what I'm saying? And everybody found their own little niche in this, and it all collectively came together and it worked. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm starting to get my inspiration back a little bit now because people are starting to try to break the mold a little bit.
Defy the laws a little bit. I think it's important, man. I just finished having this conversation on the way here, actually. Nobody who was successful or that was the first to do something or that was a pioneer or whoever, they didn't get anywhere that they are or that they have made it to by not taking chances. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's really important. And I think that, you know, a lot of times things are in front of our face and they're put there in order for us to follow that trail and repeat the same thing that happened before. Same thing with history books, same things with the way that things are nowadays with society and the economy and things like that. It's all something that has happened before, and we all had the book and the blueprint to sit there and read it. Whether we read it or not is a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to understand it enough to either make the same mistakes or not make the same mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Or know what was right and know what was wrong. So I just feel like, you know, nowadays it's important for us to be educated on that type of stuff, same way it is to be educated as like the Outcasts and the Lil Jons or whoever, like knowing who was before you, how they did it, what they did with it, and you know what I'm saying, how to take something that inspires you to do something and make it into your own thing and run with it, you know what I'm saying, and stand behind it and stand on top of that and you know what I'm saying, take it to heart. Because I think a lot of times, like for me, I know I treat my music like a child, like a baby or something like that. So even when I get with people and I'm in meetings, I don't like to play certain songs or I don't like to do certain things if it's not the right setting or time because this is my child. This is like if the school got all kind of people outside the front.
You don't want to set your baby in a dangerous situation.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I 110% agree, man. And I think and that's what lets me know that you are in fact a real artist. And you take your craft serious, and it's not necessarily just about a check. Now, I'm gonna clarify that. Now, we all in this to get paid, but you want to get paid doing something that you love to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't, because this is something, and I'm sure you would agree with me. This is something that we would do for free because there was a time we did do it for free.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we were, it's kind of like playing football, high school, college,
making it to the
your
pros.
Amateur years, and then you jump into the pros. We've been through our high school development. We went through the college ranks, and then we went into the pros. You know what I mean? And the point that you brought up about it reminds me of myself when I try to talk to up and coming producers and artists in the game. I think it's real important to educate yourself. By rule of thumb, I try to tell new producers and artists at least be able to go back 3 generations of music and know that music, know it. Right. You know what I mean? Just don't know your generation of music.
Or your
know
style.
your parents' generation of music. Know your grandparents' generation of music. That way, you don't pigeonhole yourself to the point where, because like you were saying before, it's a revolving door. Right. So music is gonna change. It's always gonna change because music flows like a river. Right. So if it goes back to say like 70s feel, this music because this was your parents or your grandparents. This music.
It's the same thing that grabs your ear when you hear it to make you be like, oh, this is such and such. This is a Tina Marie sample. This is, what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's the same thing that makes you erupt with that same emotion that you had when you heard it the first time. So I definitely
I just it's just me. Everybody don't feel that same way, but I can tell that you have educated yourself to. But I also knew this already by your huge smash with Kanye, because come on, man, a young fella such as yourself didn't have no business writing that.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep it real because you wouldn't expect if you wasn't educated about music beyond just what you grew up to, you wouldn't have been able to write that hook because you didn't have it in your head to do that.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So I think I just think I think we need to get back to those kind of things, and we need to get back to some kind of. Have you heard Sierra's new song?
I've been hearing about it. Now I ain't gonna lie. Tonight was my night to be like, after I finish all my work, I like to listen to new stuff where my mind is clear and I can kind of focus on what I'm listening to. So that was gonna be my project for tonight.
I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised because her new song, like I'm super critical, and I don't like shit. I don't like a lot of stuff that, it's always that one song that stands out to me. But this song right here from her, this is the first song that I heard from her in years that I really was like, okay. Because the song actually came from a real situation.
Right. And you've seen it unfold. You've seen it happen. So it's like, all right, if I put this in the words and put it on wax,
put it on wax, and, regardless of who wrote it or whatever,
right,
she performed it, and you can feel
where she was coming from.
You can feel where she's coming from. And I think the world needs to get back to more substance like that. You have substance in you. You know what I mean? Like you're one of those artists that can get people to follow a path. I truly believe that when you first hit, you were the one that stood out there because there was a bunch of people. You helped widen that lane.
I get it.
But you were the one in that lane that really, to me, everybody else was kind of
trying to follow. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
So it's real important. Tasha, you got anything for ROSCOE?
Well, I just have to say, this is like the hardest working man that I know. This man will go in the studio from daylight to daylight. Like, I don't know how he does it. He don't sleep. If he doesn't sleep, he'll leave the studio at 6-7 o'clock in the morning and go play basketball and then be right back at the studio again. Like, when did you go to sleep, my dude? Like,
see, it's a trick, us night owls like that. I mean, we sleep because you have to, but you got to sleep at the right time to where it looks like you never went to
You
sleep.
trick yourself. You wake up with charge like, yeah, all right, I'll be asleep. You was asleep 45 minutes, bro. You ain't even, but it was that sleep though. It was the sleep where it was like, you know what I'm saying? So
I think when you work hard like that,
he does work hard. He works from the time he gets there to
yeah.
the time he leaves. I didn't see him stop not one time.
and I witnessed the work, so I see him like just sitting down and just come up with some stuff, and he didn't look like he was coming up with shit, but he was working.
Yeah,
for real. So we gonna come back with Roscoe after we take this break real quick. Roscoe Dash, we're gonna get into
finer things.
What is that? What is that?
Are y'all ready or not?
Hey, hold up.
What is that? Especially if they ain't ready for it. I'm ready for it because I want to hear some.
Y'all about to hear it right now. We'll come back and he can explain it all.
Like to hear it? Here you go. And it's probably